Another random issue of Spider-Man picked out for today. This one is Spectator Spider-Man 46 from September 1980. Spider-Man vs. Arbok. The cover is by Hank Miller, who did quite a few Spider-Man covers around this time. This one came out the same month as Daredevil 166. So we are only months before the debut of Electro and Hank Miller's meteoric rise to the role of writer-artist. This is by writer Royce Sternum and penciler your boy Zeck. My overall assessment of this issue is that it is so unbelievably average. I'm not sure I can even fill a video talking about it. The most notable development comes on page 2. Arbok escapes from prison, and on his way out, his former partner in crime, Mr. Hind, asks/begs Arbok to break him out as well, but Arbok refuses to because joining with Mr. Hind has never worked out, and Mr. Hind would only slow down his escape and probably ruin it. So yeah, Arbok severs their partnership here. Now, with the extra insight only my channel has provided on Mr. Hind, the likelihood is that Mr. Hind has violently sodomized Arbok over the course of years. You can't help it. That's what we learned in that Leather Legion comic. So what we are seeing is a very brave scene here, where a male victim of sexual abuse is standing up to his abuser. You go, guy. This falling out will actually be the starting point for half a dozen stories afterwards. Mr. Hind wanting revenge on Arbok, including 2 in Marky Mark J's Captain America. Some might have observed a decreasing opinion on Royce Sternum over the last few months. Not helping matters is we start this issue with Spider-Man moaning about the hard Parker look. I have done a video about that, surely. Peter Parker is working as a teaching assistant at Spider-Man University. I actually really don't like these scenes in this issue. They feel really stiff and awkward. And the art, even the art, feels off when your boy Zeck has to draw this many regular human peoples. We have a quick scene, a montage with Peter Parker teaching some students. I don't know what to say. I don't like these Peter Parker bits. It feels very artificial and inauthentic. It feels like these are scenes that were written and Peter Parker was dropped into. But at least they are trying to do Peter Parker bits. Of course, within a few issues' time, one of Peter Parker's students will be Killer Fool. They could have introduced him here. And I'd probably have felt better about the Spider-Man U scenes. And maybe the issue overall. Yeah, I just don't like these scenes. The idea of Peter Parker as a teacher, I like that, but I feel like the focus should be on Peter Parker and his students, Peter Parker relating to his students, Peter Parker teaching his students. That's part of why that Killer Fool subplot is great. But instead, we focus on Peter Parker and his one-dimensional, silly Billy colleagues. I was polite and I didn't even acknowledge the bit where Roy Sternum had Steve Hopkins say Marcy Kane looked like a gypsy for wearing a scarf on her head. What makes this issue so incredibly mediocre, though, is we barely have a story. It's why that second page is the best bit. That adds characterization and character developments. That adds motivation for the characters and personality. This is just Spider-Man swings into Arbok robbing a jewellery store. They fight. That's the rest of the issue. The battle isn't even that good. It's in part that Arbok isn't much of a physical threat. His trick is flexibility. It's not really action to show a guy sliding out of harm's way. So we focus on a few of his other tricks, and they suck too. I will explain Arbok. It is the only way this can feel like a full video. If I explain him. Thor bad guy. Imagine that. Arbok was introduced as a villain for Thor. Completely out of place. Never worked. Arbok's shtick is contortionism and escapist shit. Escape artistry. He came from the early years of Thor, where they were treating him like a standard Marvel superhero and giving him the same breed of supervillain as Captain America or Iron Man. It was in Thor and his next appearance that Arbok teamed up with Mr. Hines. The pair would continue to appear as a double act, drifting over to Daredevil. They have quite a lot of Daredevil appearances together. Arbok's most important appearances, if you ask me, are his transition over to being a Captain America adversary, first as a member of the original Serpent Society of America, and then later the Serpent League of America, of which he eventually takes leadership of. Royce Sternum tried to make Arbok a regular Spider-Man enemy. He thought that Spider-Man was the Marvel hero who Arbok made the most sense as an opposite to. That Arbok's acrobatics and manoeuvrability went well with Spider-Man, and I can see the logic, but Royce Sternum didn't succeed at making this change permanent, despite him also writing another Spider-Man story with Arbok as the featured villain. Although recently Arbok did return to the Spider-Man books during the Nickelback Spencer era. He was on one of the Insidious Six teams, Birdman's team. That was the run where the man who famously made Captain America a Nazi all along bizarrely came close to fixing Spider-Man. It fascinates me, that. Arbok, the problem is, as I said, you have a villain whose main trick is that he dodges things. He runs away, kind of. There's not much exciting about that. Even his other attacks, like needle darts as seen on this page, or earlier he used gas pellets. None of it makes for dynamic action, really. I feel like there's a very good reason that the majority of his appearances have him either partnered with Mr. Ainz or a team of other snake-themed villains. He isn't much of a solo villain. Spider-Man defeats him and he is arrested. And it is here where we have some of the more remarkable bits of this issue. Right at the end, Captain Marbles, the real one, Marvel, he arrives with Twinkies for everyone. But his sudden appearance distracted the police and Arbok slipped away. That is good. That hammers home one thing about Arbok at least. That he gets away, that he escapes very easily. We also have Lieutenant Chris Keaton. Chris Keaton is a police character that first appeared in Defenders 44. He appears in a bunch of Spider-Man in this kind of role. Generic New York cop that we vaguely recognise from appearance to appearance. He doesn't like superheroes. He thinks they screw up his job. Later, he ends up pointlessly drawn into the Hobgoblin mystery. He gets dragged into that by Topher Proust. And Topher Proust reveals that Chris Keaton is a cover identity used by his pet character, the Fornicator. Anyway, I bring this up because while I believe in maintaining the writer's original intent always, and I would prefer to just say Chris Keaton was always just Chris Keaton until that one story when he wasn't anymore. What we have here, this could work a tiny bit as background and motivation for why Fornicator decided to target Spider-Man specifically. Keaton really does swear revenge, like a man who will one day take off this mask and be another man in a suit, who nonsensically was married to Sybil Savile, currently is fucking Felicity behind Spider-Man's back, and also had Hobgoblin killed easily before breakfast. I actually don't recommend this. It's perfunctory and that is all. I wanted a lot more and I did not get it. By the numbers story, I don't find any heart or passion in this. It feels like we'll have him fight Arbok this month script. I'll give it 7 thumbs up this month.